just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again.
What's up, everybody? We watch and then review every movie that was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Award for 101 years. Now, I know what you're saying, there's not 101 years of Academy Award winning movies, but there will be in 2027, and so we'll get there eventually. Actually, 2028. So today's movie is the Hollywood Revue of 1929, which coincidentally came out in 1929, exactly in June 20th, 1929. And before we start the review, like usually we go into a process where part of the review is spoiler free and then the second part is spoiler filled. This time there will not be a spoiler free part of the review because of obvious reasons if you've seen the movies. If anyone wants to like not know anything about this movie at all, then this is your occasion to leave. But just be aware that there will not be a spoiler-free section today because, Anna, this movie is...
Not really a story, there's nothing to spoil actually there.
Exactly, there is no plot, there is nothing to spoil for us. So, first, I'd like to start like we always start with a few facts about the movie.
So I don't actually know a lot of facts about this movie other than the year when it came out. So maybe you can tell me more about it?
Yeah, first of all, the director, Charles Reisner, not known for anything that you or I would know. Like I looked up at his filmography, so like maybe someone in the comment knows more about him. Like we said, this movie has no real plot because, and that's probably the most interesting fact about this movie, it's like variety show, comedy, musical kind of thing, you know.
Right, composed of just a bunch of different individual like acts.
Yeah, so people singing, people doing sketches, people doing comedy bits, and they just put like all of it together. And actually, this is a movie produced by MGM, and it encompasses most of MGM's artists at the time.
Right, I did see something on the internet about it saying that only 3 or 4 major MGM artists at the time were not featured in this production, but one of them was actually named.
Yeah. Also, interesting fact, one of the first sound movie. It's kind of fitting that one of the first sound movie would be a musical among other things, and also one of the first color movie, because there is actually a few scenes that are in Technicolor. Like we said, this is kind of more of a variety show kind of deal. So there are 2 like animators or masters of ceremonies, which will act as if they were our main actors. Like usually we name the main actors here. The master of ceremony is Conrad Nagel, which was an actor, and Jack Benny, which was a comedian and an actor. What else? Also very interesting is that a very famous song was debuted in this movie.
Right.
Can you tell us more about it?
Sure, it's we're talking about Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, Singing in the Rain was debuted in this movie, performed first by Cliff Edwards doing one of the acts, and then by the whole cast at the end of the movie.
At the end of the movie, yes.
Yeah. And just to talk a bit about like, because I was taken aback when it started and I saw that, oh wait, there's no plot, it's just a variety show. Let's look at how people reacted back then to this movie. Here I have a quote from the New Yorker saying that it's the most extravagant and extensive musical comedy so far presented by the Talking Pictures, and it is a complete evening's entertainment. all in all, like this is just one quote, but all in all, the movie was a commercial and critical success. People loved it, even though people were scared beforehand. Like people were saying the producers was crazy for even having the idea. But once the movie came out, people loved it. But what about us? Almost 100 years later, 90 years later, what did we think about this movie? I'll start with you, Anna. What did you think?
So, to me, it is interesting right now that they even consider this a movie, because really it's not a movie. It's a show. It's a show like you would see a New Year show put together, or like some other type of event like this. Like we said, it's made up of different acts, bits of music, small sketches. So to think that at the time they would treat this as a movie just because it was filmed and television, probably.
Yeah, and like it was in theaters.
Yes. It
wasn't televised because television was not a thing. It was in theaters, but yeah, that was my first instinct too. Was to think like, wait, does this really count? Like this was nominated as Best Picture, but then it makes you question, what is a movie really?
What did they think back then of what a movie would be?
Because today you would never see that. You would never see like something like I don't know, X Factor or America's Best Talent.
Exactly.
Even if it was in theaters, it would never be qualified as a movie at the Academy Award.
Right. And we've seen in theaters musical performances, recordings of musical performances being shown in theaters, but they would never be considered movies.
Yeah. And because just by the sheer fact that it excludes you for talking in an Academy Award sense, it excludes you from so many of the prizes. Like you can't win Best Actor or I don't know, Best Screenplay.
And one of the main things that you think about when you think movie, you think storyline,
yeah,
or plot,
mm-hmm.
which we don't have here.
There is no plot.
Yes. But even though that was my first reaction, like I watched the beginning and I thought at the very beginning, because it starts with the music and dancing act, I thought, oh, this is just the beginning, like this is what happens in the movie that we are going to watch. But then they keep going on with singing and dancing, and maybe 15 minutes in, my question was, wait, are we watching a movie or not? Because it doesn't look like it.
For a second I thought like, did we get the wrong movie?
But after thinking about it for a while, I was actually very happy that we got to watch that. Whether by today's standards we would consider it a movie or not, and most likely not, it really showed us something new and different about what was, being shown to the people at the time. Yes, what this type of, because this type of entertainment is still happens today. It's not. It didn't die out. It's not.
Like you said, this is like a New Year's like variety show.
Yes, exactly. So it's something that you would still see today, and to see really that it didn't look that different back then.
Yeah.
The way they arranged the scenes, the way they mixed up like musical performances with like sketches, with dances, with comedy parts. It really looks a lot like what you would see today in a similar television show. And
this has been a lot of our feedback for a lot of movies that we've seen up until now, which is that, things have changed, but not that much.
Yes.
Like we have more technology, but like what we do is basically the same. And I agree, it totally looks like a variety show that you would have today, with less flair,
And with questionable video effects.
Yeah. Exactly. So all in all, you were satisfied. You enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. I mean, I would not say that I watched a movie, obviously, but I did watch a very entertaining show.
Variety show.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there like one act in particular that like talked to you where you were like, oh, this is really good?
So what really made my heart jump while watching it were the things that I recognized. So every time I saw something that I recognized, I would think, oh my God, I actually know this.
Yeah.
It made me so excited. So one of them was the comedy act by the two Stan and what is his name?
I don't know what you mean. Like
Larry,
those that were
Lenny.
acting as magician.
Yes,
Like,
yes, but it's a comedy act.
Yeah.
Because okay, so I don't remember exactly their names because in Romanian television they were translated, so their names were changed to be easier probably for us to remember. But even in the 90s, even in the 2000s, they were very, very popular on just national television. You would see
In Romania?
like in Romania, yes, like 20-30 minutes small sketches, comedy sketches of theirs. They were so popular. So when I saw them there, I thought, well, first of all, I didn't know they were that old. Like, I thought they were more recent. Like, their videos would be more recent. I didn't think that actually they stopped performing in the 50s. And I did look up on the internet, and I think they did mention that this was one of their first appearances in movie type of a thing. So recording. And one other thing that I really liked was obviously Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain, which is mostly known for the musical much later in the 50s. So I didn't know that it was like the song itself was much older than that. What else was interesting is that this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first movie with color that we see.
Yes,
and
so far.
That we've seen so far. Yeah.
So even if not all of it was in color, there were like I think 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah, a few sketches that were in color, and then I think at the end when they were singing in the Rain was also like in color, which is like Technicolor. So there's like very few colors, like 1 or 2 colors, but it's still like jarring the difference between that and black and white before. All in all, like to conclude, I'll say I also had a good time watching it. Again, I'm not sure, like I would say that it's a movie or even a movie deserving of being nominated for Best Picture. But if you think about what it was at the time, which is one of the first sound movie, one of the first color movie.
Definitely the first variety show of its kind.
Yeah, one of the first musical being filmed. Like it was a trailblazer for sure, and I'm sure people at the time, their minds were blown by like seeing this movie. But with our 2019
life experience,
exactly, it's not
entertainment experience.
Exactly. Sadly, it can't be as impressive anymore because we've seen this in so many other forms. But still, it was an enjoyable movie.
It definitely was.
Yes. Next time, we're watching another movie from 1929, which is in Old Arizona. So we'll see you next time for the next movie.